Hey, what's up, everybody? This is the one and only Trent. Be clever. Back at you again. I know it's been a long time, and so been out of pocket. Been trying to get my stuff together. I just got to finish washing clothes or what have you. Yeah, I want to talk about today about basically telling your story and not being ashamed or afraid to tell your story. As many of you have watched my previous videos, I've told my story about being homelessness, my struggles with homelessness, the different levels of homelessness. But this actual story is just basically not being afraid or ashamed to tell your story. Because in a lot of ways, more ways than one, for many weeks, months even, I was afraid to tell my story. Ashamed of what people may think about me, embarrassed about my struggles and trying to fight to get back on my feet. And a lot of the stuff I had to do alone, and sometimes telling your story forces you to lay down your pride, become ultimately humble, and to start fresh. And perhaps this is where God wanted me to be at this particular season in my life. I was definitely feeling discouraged and upset many days, depressed many days, angry a lot, and it was teaching me I had to let go of the anger and release and give that back to God. And so I would channel a lot of that energy into creativity, into writing poetry, writing screenplays, to social media, networking, and a lot of other things, reading books, a lot of other things in between, job searching, networking, etc. Getting closer and closer to my actual surgery, which is in the first week of July, or the second week of July, actually, to be more specific. So I do actually have a GoFundMe page that I will be dropping in my comment section below. So I would definitely have the link posted and let you check out that information. But anyway, my point was, sometimes your story can be someone else's deliverance. Sometimes your misery and your pain and your heartache can be somebody else's deliverance, because you never know who's going through what out here in this world, in these streets. A lot of people are suffering. A lot of people are embarrassed and ashamed to tell you that they're suffering or they're struggling and they're one paycheck away to be homeless, from being homeless, or one paycheck away from going to total foreclosure. People got liens on their houses. People are getting downsized at their jobs and companies. More and more jobs are going overseas. A lot of stuff is happening all around us, but we're not paying attention, because as long as it's not happening to me personally or you, very few seem to care. And so a lot of families are being affected by a lot of the changes politically, spiritually, emotionally, economically, all around us in America, the United States. So I know it's hard to fathom being homeless. I know it's hard to fathom losing your job, or family losing your home or your house, or having little no resources, or just family and friends not understanding your dilemma, because sometimes no matter what you do, it's still hard to stay above the water, and as many of you know, the bills continue to come in. They don't stop. They don't stop for nothing in the world. The bills continue to come in. So I would suggest many of you to have a backup plan, to have at least 1 year of emergency savings, if that's even possible in today's economy, especially with inflation currently rising and steadily rising, with the price of food and housing and rent and mortgage and all these other things. And then, of course, if you have children, Lord have mercy, my heart and my prayers certainly go out to you. But we can't give up out here. We got to keep fighting. We got to keep pressing on, because life still goes on. Whether you have a job or don't, life goes on. Whether you homeless or not, life goes on. Whether you're married or not, or divorced or not, life goes on. So you have to definitely keep your head up to the sky, as the legendary group Earth, Wind, and Fire would say. And I'm just praying that things get better for everyone else that are suffering. But tell your story, tell your story. Bless someone else, encourage someone else, so they won't feel that they're alone out in this cruel and hard world, man. Because a lot of people, again, are going through it, and people often question the suicide rates, and they question the homicide rates and the violence in different inner cities and communities, man. And people out here really struggling and suffering, doing the very best they can. I don't care if you're black, Latino, white, Asian, Dominican, whatever it is, Puerto Rican, we all going through it at some capacity. Some people have more support than others from their family. I take that in being, but there's many people out here who are alone when it really gets down to the nitty gritty and when you're losing everything around you, resources, family, etc. There are a lot of people out here who are suffering in silence. And I'm saying to you, as Trent Be Clever, you don't have to suffer in silence. There are people willing to pray for you, to encourage you, to love you, to let you know that you're not by yourself. And a lot of us, because of our pride and our arrogance and our ego, we don't want to lay that to the side and be humbled and say, hey, I need help. It's hard out here. I need some help out here. You know, and that's how I felt about GoFundMe for many weeks, months. My cousin actually was telling me, she's like, you should start a GoFundMe page. But I was really adamant of not doing it. I didn't want to do it. You know, I felt embarrassed. I felt ashamed that I'm as old as I am, experiencing job loss, experiencing homelessness, experiencing issues with my medical history and my health and what have you. And see, none of those things were actually my fault. And sometimes you have to let go of the misconception that, you know, that you can control all the variables around you, because some things are out of your control. And I learned quickly on, stop worrying about things you have no control over. Stop stressing about things that you can't do anything about. You have to let go. You have to let God. You have to pray. You have to do the best you can and take it one day at a time. Because if not, you'll go crazy. You'll be stressed out with high blood pressure and all kind of things going on. Trust me, I know. I am a living witness. I know, and I can tell you firsthand. So definitely you don't want to do that. So anyway, I just wish you the best and to tell your story. And so I just want to inspire you and encourage you to keep holding on, keep fighting, keep standing strong, because we're all going to make it out here, and you're going to make it eventually, you know. Things take time, and sometimes in life we got to be patient. But patience doesn't mean not doing anything. It's just doing what you can do with the amount of time and resources that you have set available. So prepare your families for a lot of these things that are getting hit out here. Prepare them, you know. If you got to cut back on some things, cut back on groceries. Budget if you got to. Get into budgeting, monthly budget. Don't go above your budget. You know, sometimes you got to get rid of some of the leisures, you know, the high-speed internet at your homes, the different things to try to maintain your or sustain your living, you know. Expenses I know can get wild and get heavy, especially when you got children and you're the only one bringing in income in that household annually. Anyway, I'm not one trying to stress you or depress you. I just want to encourage you to tell your story, because you never know how your story can influence and affect other people the correct way, the positive way to bless our lives. Anyway, this is Trent Be Clever. This video's already went too long, and I am getting out of here, and I'll talk to you later. Peace and God bless.